Good day, dears. My name is Nilfar. My surname is Ochilova. Now I am going to give you brief information about subject and verb agreement. Well, what is the subject and the verb agreement itself? How can we make sentence subject and verb agree to each other? Well, a subject and its verb are the basic parts of a sentence. A singular noun subject calls for a singular form of the verb. The subject and its verb are said to agree in number. Well, let's read the sentence and we will see the examples and how they can be agree in numbers. Well, let's pay attention to their endings, the sentence endings. Pay attention and that in the present tense, the singular form of the verb usually ends in s or es. For instance, in singular, a poet explores beauty. Here you can see a poet, that is in singular, first first singular gender, and explores es. Here you can see s, and in plural you can see poets explore beauty. Here poets they, so that is a subject. Poets, that is a subject, and explore, that is a verb, and here is there is no s and es agreements as well. Well, let's see the next example. The sim touches readers. In singular, the sim touches, you see here es, and in plural, the sims touch readers. There is no endings, no s or es. Well, the last our sentence, Robert Frost writes about farms. You see here, Robert Frost, he, yes, he writes about farms, writes at the end s, and Frost and Robinson write about farms. In plural, you can see there is no s or es endings. Well, verbs and subject pronouns must also agree, of course. Look at the chart below and notice how the verb changes in the present tense. S ending is used with the subject pronouns it, he, and she. In singular, I, you, he, she, it, they are pronouns, yeah? Well, I read in singular, there is no ending, you read, and he, she, it reads. Just in the third gender, you can add s or es. In plural, we don't need any endings, I mean s, we read, you read, they read, just in the present tense, pronouns it, he, and she, they they are used for the s. At the end, we should put s or es. Well, some problems with locating the subject. Sometimes we cannot say that is a problem. It's also type of sentence we can say. Making subject and verb agree is easy when the verb directly follows the subject. Sometimes, however, a prepositional phrase comes between the subject and the verb. For instance, the city, that is a subject, in all its moods, that is a prepositional phrases, inspires poets. You see, you can also say the city inspires poets. Here is in all its mood, the additional information about the city. Or the cities of the Midwest inspires poets. Anyway, inspire belongs to cities. That's why we use in plural form. The city is here, but moods that is not belongs to inspire. Inspire belongs to the word city. That's why our verb is in a singular form. Well, some sentence begin with here or there. Here or there is never the subject of a sentence. Let's see some examples. There is a great poem about Chicago. To more easily identify the subject, rearrange the sentence so that the subject and verb are in their usual order. So we should just use is in a singular form. A great poem there is about Chicago. Is belongs to poem because poem in singular form. That's why we needed to singular form, not in plural form. If here the great poems there are about Chicago, if there are, maybe we can use are, yeah, in plural form. I mean, well, collective nouns and other special subjects. Let's see. Let's take a look in collective nouns and other special subjects. Well, it's difficult to tell whether certain special subjects are singular or plural. For example, collective nouns follow special agreement rules. A collective noun names a group. The noun has a singular meaning when used to tell about a group that acts as a unit. The noun has a plural meaning when used to describe members of the group acting as individuals. For instance, the audience sits in silence. Here you can see audience, that is a one group, and the seats, the verb is in singular form. Audience takes the adding s. And the next, the audience sit on chairs and pillows. Well, it means the individuals, one by one, each person. Well, you should use here sits in a plural form. Here the audience doesn't take as well. Collective nouns such as mathematics or tramps ends in s but takes a singular verb. Other nouns that names one thing such as pliers and binoculars end in s but take a plural verb. For instance, news is important to us all. News here ends with s, but it takes a singular form. And the scissors are useful and often attractive. Scissors also in plural form, and it takes plural form itself because scissors have two sides, two scissors. That's why it takes plural form as. And let's see some indefinite pronouns in singular and in a plural. Well, another, everybody, no one, and so another, everybody, no one, anybody, everyone, nothing. They all of them in singular. We should use them in singular, and in plural form, both, few, many, others, several. They all of them should be used in plural form. And other indefinite pronouns, for instance, so all, any, most, none, and some may be singular or plural, depending on the phrase that follows. Yes, it depends on the sentence. Well, everyone admires the poems of Emily Dickinson. You see here, everyone here, all people, each people here admires the poems of Emily Dickinson. It takes singular form and the verb agrees in singular. Many of the poems deal with death and love. Many and deal, as we mentioned above, many, after many we should use the plural form. The verb shouldn't take s or es. Well, let's take a look to the agreement with compound subjects. A compound subject contains two or more simple subjects that have the same verb. The way the subjects are joined determines whether the compound subject takes a singular or a plural verb. When two or more subjects are joined by and or by the correlative conjunction, Bose, and the plural form of the verb should be used. Chicago, for instance, Chicago, Boston, and Paris inspire many poets. You see here, you can see the words in plural form. That's why the verb takes, the verb doesn't take any s or es. Next, our example. Gwendolyn Brooks and Nikki Giovanni are poets. Here also you can see in plural form. Both Brooks and Giovanni write about their times. Here you can see also for both and in plural form. Agreement with compound subject. Now we'll continue our information about compound subject. Well, additional information about it. Sometimes and is used to join two words that are part of one unit or refer to a single person or thing. In this case, the subject is considered to be singular. For instance, her teacher and advisor is a famous writer. You see here, teacher and advisor is a famous writer because teacher is because the writer is one. Here we can see the one subject. That's why we use in singular. Notice how teacher and advisor refer to the same person. Now, in this sentence, we are talking about one person. That's why it takes, it should be in singular form. And when two or more subjects are joined by or, nor, or the correlative conjunction, either or neither nor, the verb agrees with the subject that is the closest to. The listener or the reader responds to the rhythm. Because listener and the reader, the same person, that's why it takes the ending as it should be in singular form. Either music or street sounds inspire urban poets. Either music or street sounds inspire urban poets. Here, street sounds, the next word is in a plural form. That's why the verb agrees in a singular form, in plural form, sorry. Well, that's why in this sentence we can see in plural form. Well, let's just revise our information about the subject and the verb agreement. Yes. Well, first of all, the first thing, number means singular or plural, yeah? So you can see that the subjects and verbs agree in a number, and number, that is a singular or plural. Okay, well, singular and plural forms, they are the words, the words which begins with the sentence. Actually, sentence begins with noun or pronouns. They should agree to the verb. Yeah, it depends on subject, of course, and. In singular and in plural form from pronouns, just he, she, it, they take s or es adding. And some problems with locating the subject. That is example we just mentioned about the city. The city inspires poets, or the cities of the Midwest inspire poets. And about the simplicity of the identifying the subject and verb agreement, let's see. A great poem there is about Chicago. Here you can see the rearrangement of the verb in their usual order, but anyway, it doesn't change the form of number. And about the collective nouns, yes, we have some collective nouns. Some of them, if the word taking into consideration about one group, it should the verb should be in singular form. If the word tells about the individuals in a plural form, the verb should be also in the form of plural. It doesn't take s or es. Other collective nouns like mathematics, which the words ends with the s, they are also takes s or es, mathematics, news, or others. And the indefinite pronoun, about the indefinite pronouns, you can just see another, everybody, no one. Dears just learn by heart them. They are always in singular. They come just in singular form, and in plural form, you know, both, few, many, others, and several. Here also we mentioned the examples and about the Bose and either and neither. It depends on the word subject which is going to continue the sentence. Well, here is our presentation. Thank you for your attention, and goodbye in your study.